Hey there and welcome. Today we are diving deep into a world that is, get this, everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. It's a world filled with tiny, incredibly powerful beings that literally shape our lives in ways we almost never see. We're talking about microorganisms.
Just pause and think about that for a second. What if there was an entire invisible ecosystem just teeming with life, operating on your skin, inside your gut, on the very food you eat? Well, it's not a what if, that's our reality, right now.
So what exactly are these things? The name itself actually gives us a pretty big clue. You've got micro, which means super small, and organism, which just means a living being. Put them together, and you've got life forms that are so tiny, they are completely invisible to us without a microscope.
In this invisible world, it's not some far-off, exotic place you have to travel to. Nope, it is right here, right now. In fact, it is absolutely everywhere.
I mean, where don't they live? They're deep in the soil beneath our feet. They're all up in our stomachs. In fact, fun fact, the microbial cells in your body actually outnumber your human cells. Isn't that wild? They're in our mouths, on our food, and on pretty much every single thing we own. They are our constant, silent, unseen companions.
But that brings us to the real heart of the question for today. Are these companions our friends, helping us out, or are they our foes, just waiting to cause problems? Well, as we're about to find out, the answer is both.
This right here really shows you the incredible contrast, doesn't it? I mean, the same broad groups of organisms that help us make delicious food can also cause terrible diseases. They're behind life-saving medicine, but they're also the reason our food spoils and we get food poisoning. It's this amazing duality that we're going to unpack.
All right, let's get into it, starting with the good guys. Let's explore all the amazing ways that microorganisms act as our tiny, helpful, and totally essential allies.
You know, so many of the foods and drinks we absolutely love just wouldn't even exist without the hard work of these friendly little microbes. They're basically the invisible chefs in our planet's kitchen.
Let's take bread, for instance. When you add yeast, which is just a tiny, single-celled fungus, to dough, it gets right to work. It starts gobbling up all the sugars in the dough in this process called fermentation. And as it eats, it releases these little bubbles of gas that get trapped, pushing the dough up and out, which is what gives bread that amazing light and fluffy texture we all know and love.
And now, it does not stop at bread, not even close. That same fermentation magic is what turns milk into yogurt and curd. It's absolutely essential for making most kinds of cheese. And yeah, of course, the dough for your favorite pizza or that burger bun, it all relies on that same industrious little yeast.
But their impact goes way beyond the kitchen. Microbes are also some of the biggest unsung heroes in the world of medicine. They're responsible for some of the most important medical discoveries in all of human history.
Think about it. Life-saving antibiotics, which we use to fight off nasty bacterial infections, were discovered completely by accident from a mold, another kind of fungus. And it's the same story for certain painkillers and even those nasal decongestants you use when you have a cold. Seriously, without these little microbial gifts, our medicine cabinets would look totally different.
Okay, so let's flip the coin. It's time to look at the other side of the story. Because for all the good they do, some microorganisms can be incredibly destructive. They can act like harmful invaders in our bodies and all around us.
This pretty much says it all, right? A simple, everyday sneeze can suddenly become a super spreader event for millions of harmful virus particles. And these things are tiny infectious agents that need a living host, like, us, to multiply and thrive.
And here's exactly how it works. It's so simple it's scary. Someone who's already sick sneezes. That launches the virus into the air, hitching a ride inside tiny water droplets. Someone else nearby just breathes in those droplets, and boom, just like that, the virus has a new home. It's a brutally effective way to get around.
And remember that delicious bread that our friendly microbes helped us make? Well, it can also become a perfect target for their not-so-friendly cousins. It all starts with a perfectly good loaf.
But you leave that bread out, especially where it's a bit damp, and you're basically rolling out the welcome mat for mold. Before you know it, you'll see those fuzzy, dark patches start to appear as this fungus spreads, literally eating your bread and spoiling it.
And the list of damage they can do goes on and on. Viruses cause things like chickenpox. Certain kinds of bacteria are famous for causing really nasty food poisoning and diarrhea. And
Just like they do with bread, fungi can grow on and totally destroy things like your leather shoes or bags, especially if it gets damp.
So, this brings us to a really crucial point. Since we live completely surrounded by both the helpful and the harmful microbes, we've had to come up with some pretty clever ways to manage this relationship, to encourage the good ones while keeping the bad ones in check.
Food preservation is a fantastic example of this. We're basically creating environments where the bad microbes just can't party. Refrigeration, that's like hitting the slow motion button on their growth. Drying food, like when farmers leave grains out in the sun, that takes away the water that microbes absolutely need to survive. And those preservatives and things like packaged juices, you can think of them as microscopic security guards, actively stopping the microbes from growing in the first place.
But managing our microbial world isn't just about playing defense against the bad guys. It's also about protecting and really understanding the amazing work the good guys are doing on a planetary scale. The nitrogen cycle is nothing short of a microbial masterpiece. You've got these incredible bacteria in the soil that can literally pull nitrogen gas out of thin air and fix it into a form that plants can soak up like fertilizer. This one process, carried out by trillions of our unseen allies, is basically the foundation for almost all life on Earth.
And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. This isn't a simple story of good versus evil, heroes and villains. It's a story of balance and about our place within that complex web. When you get right down to it, microbes aren't just friends or foes. They're a fundamental, non-negotiable part of our planet's entire operating system. They are the great recyclers, the creators, and yes, the destroyers, all rolled into one. Life, as we know it, simply could not exist without them.
So I just leave you with this final thought. We are in a constant, delicate partnership with this vast, invisible world. So how could understanding that partnership better completely change the future of our medicine, our food, and even our relationship with the planet itself? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.